It's time to discuss winter flooding as part of Winter Weather Awareness Week. Even though we tend to think of ice and snow during the winter time, the combination of melting, rainfall, increased runoff due to frozen ground, and ice jams can still yield the potential for significant flooding. Flooding, in fact, can occur at any time of the year, day or night. That is part of what makes it so dangerous. Flooding during the winter can be the result of three separate sources: heavy rainfall, melting of snow, and ice jams, or in many cases, a combination of all three. In addition, the presence of frozen ground can prevent water from percolating deeper into the soil, increasing runoff and the potential for flooding. Minor river flooding can take place from rapid snowmelt in the early months of spring. These waters gradually creep onto low-lying roads and fields. Never drive into these waters and heed road closures, especially since these floodwaters will be very cold. The combination of heavy rainfall and substantial snowmelt can lead to water at the surface rapidly running off into streams and rivers, causing widespread flooding. This scenario typically occurs during the end of winter and early spring with the onset of milder temperatures, such as April 2011, but it can occur at any time. Ice jams may develop in the early winter during what's called the freeze-up stage. When ice forms within a river during spells of extremely cold temperatures, the ice can restrict the normal flow of water on the river, which can result in flooding. Later in the season, flooding from ice jams is usually caused by a prolonged warm spell accelerating snowmelt, which leads to rises in water levels in rivers. The rise in water level causes river ice to break up. The ice floats downstream, and a jam tends to develop where there is an obstruction to the natural flow, such as along bends in the river, along the intersections of rivers, and streams or man-made structures like a bridge. Ice jams can result in a rapid and dramatic rise in water levels along major rivers or smaller waterways. The combination of ice jams with snowmelt can cause flash floods as well. A deep snowpack increases runoff produced by snowmelt. Heavy spring rains falling on melting snowpack can produce disastrous flash flooding. Melting snowpack may also contribute to flash floods produced by ice jams on creeks and rivers. Thick layers of ice often form on streams and rivers during the winter. Melting snow and/or warm rain running into the streams may lift and break this ice, allowing large chunks of ice to jam against bridges or other structures. This causes the water to rapidly rise behind the ice jam. If the water is suddenly released, serious flash flooding could occur downstream. Huge chunks of ice can be pushed onto the shore and even through houses and buildings. So know the history of flooding in your area and be prepared to seek higher ground if floodwaters approach. Break-up ice jams form where higher river flows break intact ice and carry it downstream. Common areas for ice jams include where water velocity slows, like bridge abutments, sandbars, bends in rivers, and where rivers open into a lake. As the weather becomes more moderate with mild temperatures, be alert for ice breakup and the increased likelihood of ice jams. Be alert to any rapid rises or falls in the river levels. A fluctuation in river level may indicate that an ice jam has formed. Ice jams can result in dangerous flooding in a short period of time. In order to provide advance notice of possible flooding, the National Weather Service issues flood watches and flood warnings. A flood watch means that flooding is possible within the next 12 to 36 hours, and preparations should be made in case of flooding. A flood warning means that flooding is imminent or occurring, and immediate safety actions are necessary. Flash flood warnings will be primarily issued in ice jams, dam breaks, or burn scars. Flood warnings are issued for flooding of smaller rivers and streams as a result of prolonged heavy rainfall and/or snowmelt, and are issued on a county-by-county basis. In rare instances, a flash flood emergency might be issued if the situation calls for a more drastic response. Always plan ahead by listening to the weather forecast on NOAA Weather Radio. Report any flooding to the appropriate authorities and ask them to relay those reports to the National Weather Service. And always heed the advice of local officials concerning the need to evacuate. Nearly 2/3 of flood-related deaths are attributed to motorists driving into floodwaters. Never drive a car into a flooded roadway. Turn around, don't drown. Cars easily become stuck or washed away in floodwaters, and it is particularly dangerous at night when road washouts may be difficult to see until it's too late. Our Advanced Hydrologic Prediction Service webpage will display current and forecast river levels at various points across the hydrologic basin. You can view these data at the URL listed at the bottom of this page to improve your situational awareness of nearby rivers. For more information, visit us on the web at www.weather.gov/btv. Also, like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter.